before we uh, get to turnaround. The first thing that I wanted to do today was to refresh everybody's memory on HB 2220. It was a bill that Representative Auerkamp brought to the committee last year. We didn't work it. I just wanted everybody to have a chance to get familiar again with what was in it. And Chris, could you give us an overview on it?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee House Bill 2220, a bill we heard on February 13th of 2025, would permit local authorities with jurisdiction over city residence districts to lower the speed limit in such districts to 25 miles per hour without an engineering and traffic investigation. So it amends KSA 8-1560, which is a statute that allows local authorities to increase or decrease general speed limits for certain districts and highways within the local authority's jurisdiction. Currently, local authorities can reduce the maximum speed limit in a residence district to 20 miles per hour after the speed limit is determined to be reasonable and safe based on an engineering and traffic investigation. Residence district is a term defined in the Uniform Act regulating traffic on highways. And what the bill would do is just allow local authorities within jurisdiction over city residence districts to decrease the maximum speed limit in such districts to 25 miles per hour without an engineering and traffic investigation. Obviously, if the committee chooses to work the bill, I don't know if there would need to be any technical updates for this session. I don't believe so, but the bill would take effect July 1, 2026. Happy to answer any questions.
Does anybody have any questions for Chris? We really don't have any conferees on this, so. Representative Wilborn? Yeah, I didn't think we needed to bring them all back in to do the hearings again, but we do have copies of the testimony that they provided last time.
Thank you.
In this file. Representative Delperdang.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chris, what if we're lowering it to 25 with this, what is it today? Is there a minimum?
I believe it's 30 miles per hour. I would have to check to make sure. I
mean, if we're just lowering it 5 miles, it's one thing. I know I'm looking, I frequently will drive Highway 61 between like Pratt and Hutch, and there's several little towns that will drop from, I think, 65 out there, maybe to 45, but could this open it to take it from 65 bang down to 25?
Let me check to make sure, because I think there are certain speed limits that residence districts have to follow, but I'll get you an answer on that.
Right. Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Representative Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Flipping through the testimony here, it appears like it's all proponent testimony. There was nobody in opposition, correct?
Yeah, that's my understanding. Do you have a copy of the, you've got a copy of the minutes, or did you bring up the copy of the minutes? There were no opponents, Meg said. Yeah, we reviewed the minutes to see if there was anything we wanted to add. Yeah, my understanding is this bill just allows a city to lower the speed limit from 30 to 25 without having to go through a traffic study. So it saves money for the local governments. It can't, but we do need Chris to confirm that.
Yeah, I would say I think if a speed limit was ever 65 miles per hour, it probably is not for a residence district. But again, I will clarify that in the statutes.
Representative Weigel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the first page, it says on line 16, increase the limit within an urban district, but not to exceed the maximum speed limit of 65 miles per hour. What are we defining as a urban district?
Mr. Representative, urban district, I believe, is defined in the Uniform Act, but I can say that it is not a residence district because that's also a defined term. So An urban district isn't what we're referring to for this change. This would just be city residence districts.
Well, is it like within the city limits?
Uh,
Is it,
yeah,
Is it
if it's in their local jurisdiction, then yes, they have the authority to increase in an urban district if it's in their jurisdiction.
And just not to complicate things, but if everybody looks, we've got the actual bill, I think, in your file. Don't you all have that? Most of this is just cleanup language. The pertinent part is section I on the back of the bill that you have. I think that makes it less confusing. Yeah, over city residence districts may reduce the maximum speed limit in their respective residence districts to 25 miles per hour without the engineering and traffic investigation required by subsection A. I guess we need to make sure that there is a maximum speed limit for residential districts. Is that correct?
Yes, like I said, I believe it's 30 miles per hour, but need to clarify that. It's in a different statute than this one.
Yeah, will you go back and check on that on your computer? Anybody else got any questions for Chris? All right, I don't intend to take action on this today. Representative Auerkamp asked me to look at it again. So I wanted to make sure everybody had it fresh in their mind in case we decide to take action later in the week on it. And then while we go on to the next bill, Chris, if you can research the speed limit so that we, again, my assumption, and often when I assume something, I'm wrong. My assumption is, if I remembered correctly, this was only to allow going from 30 to 35, or yeah, 25. So, and if we need to clear it up with an amendment or something, you know, I'm definitely in favor of doing that. Okay. Any other questions? There wasn't a fiscal note. Again, take time to review the testimony that we got last year. All right. With that, we will move on to the hearing on House Bill 2606, modifying the definition of conviction in the Kansas Uniform Commercial Driver's License Act. And Chris, can you give us an overview on that one?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee, House Bill 2606. As the chair said, it amends the definition of conviction in the Kansas Uniform Commercial Driver's License Act. The bill specifically amends KSA 8-1, which is a statute that provides definitions for the entire Uniform CDL Act. Currently, conviction is defined to mean an unvacated adjudication of guilt or a determination that a person has violated or failed to comply with the law, and, with heavy emphasis on the and, it's in a court of original jurisdiction or an administrative proceeding, an unvacated forfeiture, bail, or collateral deposited to secure the person's appearance in court, a plea of guilty or nolo contendere, I think is how you pronounce that, accepted by the court, the payment of fine or court costs or violation of condition of release without bail, regardless of whether the penalty is rebated, suspended, or probated. So the bill just strikes that and that I referred to, and the rest of the language continues as I stated it. The term is used throughout the act, but specifically inapplicable to this bill in KSA 8-2, 142, which provides for some disqualifications of CDLs for certain convictions, including convictions of 8-2, 144, which is DUI while operating a commercial vehicle. The bill would become effective July 1, 2026. I did want to note there are a few technical changes throughout that are in other places in this statute, as we like to sometimes clean those up if allowable. And I'll let the division kind of speak to the court case that kind of caused this bill to be requested. But it did interpret that and the definition. So I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Yeah, let's kind of try to hold the questions on this one until we get the Department of Revenue attorney up here, because they're responding to a lawsuit that they lost. All right, thank you very much, Chris. All right. Doesn't appear that we have a fiscal note of any substance on this. So with that, we'll move on to Charles Bradley, attorney for the Kansas Department of Revenue. Charles, welcome to the committee.
There we go.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman and committee members, for the opportunity to provide proponent testimony on House Bill 2606.
Is that mic on, Charles?
I'll try to talk up.
It is? All right, get that sucker in your face, Charles. We want to hear you.
As he indicated, this is simply removing an and. For the last 5 years, KDOR has used the term conviction to include anything that is payment of a fine, anything like this for CDL holders. This did include a CDL holder that entered into a DUI diversion, because even though you don't go to jail or it's not a conviction on your normal record, you do pay a fine. So under the current statute, under Fed regs, we interpreted that to be a conviction and suspended your commercial driver's license. It only affects commercial, so most DUI diversions don't impact. Furthermore, because 5 years ago, you guys also passed a explicit statute prohibiting any diversions for CDL holders, this really isn't affecting a lot of people. So this simply is correcting our statutes to comply perfectly with the Fed, simply because no one ever saw this and or saw that it was important. The Court of Appeals recently opined in a unpublished decision that the and is important in determining what a conviction is, that you have to be adjudicated guilty and pay a fine. We want to make sure that that interpretation doesn't get used to cause any sort of other issues. So we're deleting the and, which for some reason was put there in 1989. Nobody knows why. And hopefully this fixes everything.
So will this mean less punishment for DUI offenders in any way?
No, this will not affect pretty much any DUI in the state of Kansas. There have been, since you guys implemented that 22 ban, there have been about 12 people per year that somehow get an unlawful diversion for a DUI, even though they held CDLs. This will
How will it affect those 12?
About 12 a year sneak through. We're hoping that this can continue to keep them off the road at least.
So I guess I keep hearing will this change in any way the sentencing or the cost to a DUI conviction?
No.
Will it change in any way a CDL, DUI diversion, their penalties or anything?
Yes.
How?
It should clarify, there should be no such thing as a CDL diversion. That was made unlawful 4 years ago by this committee under 22-2908.
So in your opinion, this will do away with DUI diversions for CDLs?
I would really hope so, but this is a catch-all, that if somebody somehow convinces a prosecutor or tricks them into giving a diversion, they're still going to lose their license. Does that make sense? They're commercial.
There's a chance that they won't lose their license the way it's written now?
Correct. That's what the Court of Appeals indicated, was that because of that and, if they obtained a diversion somehow,
They could keep their license?
take their license, correct.
Okay. Is everybody
So,
clear as mud? I can see some looks there, Representative Van Houten. Anybody else have any questions? So again, the intent of this bill is to make sure that if you get a DUI conversion and you're a CDL driver, you lose your license. We're trying to ensure that because we've had a court ruling that might put that at risk.
sorry. If I was a better lawyer, maybe we wouldn't have to be here.
Well, and we can get Chris up there. Chris, get up there. We want to grill you a little bit. All right.
Sure, he would have won.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for Charles? Okay. Thank you very much, Charles. All right, next on the agenda, we have verbal proponent Catherine Magana with KDOT. Catherine, I'm getting better doing the Ganya, aren't I?
You did a great job today.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe next week I can do the same. Okay.
Maybe I don't have to go next week. Hi, committee. My name is Catherine Magana. I'm a legislative liaison for the Kansas Department of Transportation. And I think you have my written testimony, so I'll just briefly touch on why KDOT is supporting HB 2606 today, which provides a minor language clarification to our current DUI statutes. This bill is critical to keeping the state in compliance with federal regulations regarding DUI offender penalties for CDL users. And if this bill is not passed, KDOT would be at risk of losing a percentage of federal funding that we receive annually from two large formula funding programs for transportation. And that percentage in the first year of noncompliance would equal out to about $17 million withheld. And then in the second year of noncompliance would equal out to about $35 million withheld, as well as potential decertification of the state's CDL program. And those potential losses of funds would significantly impact the agency's ability to continue delivering transportation projects for all Kansans on a steady basis and improving our transportation and highway infrastructure. This bill would continue to allow Kansas to just consistently hold offenders accountable, provide penalty transparency, and continue to support safety on our roadways for all road users. And we really just want to make sure that we're continuing to stay in federal compliance and not be at risk of losing those funds or being out of compliance with those federal regulations. And if you have any questions about the masking regulations at the federal level, please let me know. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Catherine? Representative Minix.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I have an expert in front of me. In the bill, it talks about a tank vehicle, and it refers to some other statute and this and that. Could you define tank vehicle? And also non-resident commercial driver's license. This is like a scavenger hunt bill. Everything refers to something else that I don't have in front of me. If you could explain those two to me.
I would not proclaim to be an expert on those definitions, so I would either defer to revenue or the revisor on that one.
Can someone explain that to me?
Charles, do you need a copy of the bill?
Were those modified?
Back on page 4, line 8, and line 19. What's a non-resident commercial driver's license?
It would appear to be a license issued pursuant to 2148. Sorry. I believe that's a license issued pursuant to 2148.
Do you want to call a friend? I see Kent's back there. Kent might be able to answer the non-resident commercial driver's license. Can you do that, Kent? Or would you like to stay out of the spotlight? Introduce yourself, please, Kent.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Kent Selk, the Senior Driver Services Manager for the Division of Vehicles. What that is referring to is our non-domicile CDL that we issue for individuals who have a H-2A or H-2B visa, primarily custom harvest operations. So all that's referring to, and I'm not a lawyer, is making sure that this applies to them the same as it does any other commercial holder.
And then the other question I had was on tank vehicle. I could describe that a couple different ways, I guess. What do they mean here by a tank vehicle that refers to defined in 49 CFR 383.5?
My assumption on that one again, and I'm just going by what I know from that there's definitions in that CFR that define vehicles for other commercial, for all your commercial class of licenses and the endorsements. The tank vehicle would be just the same as what you're thinking of, a tanker truck or any tank trailer you're pulling. I think that's what the tank definition is stating. I'm not real sure why they're clarifying it in there, because this would encompass anybody with a commercial license, regardless of their endorsement or restrictions, to my knowledge.
Thank you.
Other questions? All right, thanks for the
You're welcome.
pinch hit. All right. Is there any other questions for any of the conferees? If not, we'll go ahead and close the hearing on. Yeah. Oh, Jill's got the definition of tank vehicle.
I will read the definition from 49 CFR 383.5. Tank vehicle means any commercial motor vehicle that is designed to transport any liquid or gaseous materials within a tank or tanks having an individual rated capacity of more than 119 gallons and an aggregate rated capacity of 1,000 gallons or more that is either permanently or temporarily attached to the vehicle or the chassis. A commercial motor vehicle transporting an empty storage container tank not designed for transportation with a rated capacity of 1,000 gallons or more that is temporarily attached to a flatbed trailer is not considered a tank vehicle.
All right. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, I'll go ahead and close the hearing on House Bill 2606. And committee will probably, possibly, maybe try to take action on these two tomorrow if there's no complications. Also tomorrow, oh yeah, do you want to speak to the 2220 or whatever it is? Yeah, 2220.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I apologize I wasn't ready with this earlier, but KSA 8-1558 provides the general maximum speed limits for certain districts. So I will say residence district is not listed in here. Urban district is listed as a maximum speed limit of 30 miles per hour, which again, 8-1560, which that bill amends, allows local jurisdictions within their authority, within their jurisdiction, to alter from the general speed limits in 8-1558. So again, all of those generally require an engineering and traffic investigation. So any of those listed in 1 through 5 are current law that local jurisdictions allowed to do. So as part of that, they could increase the limit within an urban district that does not exceed 65 miles per hour. As part of that, they could also decrease the limit within any residence district to not less than 20 miles per hour. I am assuming since an urban district is 30 miles per hour, residence districts follow that as well. So it's a 30 mile per hour max speed limit that they can decrease from that. But I will say it's not clearly in the maximum speed limit statute that like a residence district has a max speed limit of 30 miles per hour. And you're correct that the bill only adds that language in subsection I on the second page to allow city residence districts to lower that to 25 without that usual engineering and traffic investigation.
So would you mind drafting a amendment that says something to the effect of residential streets that are 30 mile per hour can be reduced to 25 miles per hour without a traffic study? Because it sounds like you're not sure that we're really going from 30 to 25. I know when he gave the original testimony, he said that they wanted to go from 30 miles per hour to 25 or 20. And I guess I would ask the committee, I think that was the intent of the bill, was to go from 30 to 25 or maybe 20. I don't know, without a traffic study. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So if they want to lower from 30 to 20, they would still need the engineering and traffic. It's only if they want to lower it to 25, they would not have to.
Oh, they can go from 30 to 20 now, but they can't go from 30 to 25?
They can go from 30 to 25, but anything lower than 30 would require an engineering and traffic investigation.
Right. So if they wanted to go to 30 to 20, they have to have an engineering investigation. If they want to go to 30 to 25, they have to have an engineering.
They would not, under the bill. But yes, current
Under the
law,
bill. Okay.
They would not, or they would It would
Right.
require the investigation, but under the bill, it would not.
So can you clarify that we're only talking about from 30 to 25 with an amendment?
Yeah, I can draft something up.
Okay. We want to match the original intent, but we don't want somebody out there dropping something from 45 to 25. Go ahead, Representative Delberdane.
I thank you for bringing that up as an amendment. To me, it clarified the questions I had on it. So I would appreciate it if we could do that. Thank you.
Sure. Any other comments? We kind of reopened this one back up. Yes, Representative Minix.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I read through the testimony from a year ago, there was a lady from Leavenworth mentioned something about road construction and for a short time period, a detour that went through her residential neighborhood. And with children playing and things like that, they thought 30 mile an hour was too fast. They'd be happy to drop it to 20, or I think she actually mentioned it was a gravel road, and so the dust was a problem. And normally speed limits are set on what they should be on a permanent basis, but every once in a while there's something short term that's unusual that'd be nice for the local unit of government to be able to modify to fit the situation without having to go to the expense of a traffic study. I believe was kind of the intent that Representative Arkamp had on this bill.
So this amendment is fine with you? Yep. Okay. Any other comments? Okay. Seeing none. Tomorrow, we're going to be hearing a road sign bill. We're going to do a license plate. And then we're going to have a hearing on an antique farm vehicle license plates that kind of got changed. So anyway, if there's no further business for the